Oh, hey, we're live. Damon, dude, how are you? Happy Monday,
Great.
man.
We're live today.
We are live today. I thought we are just gonna just
Hang
solve
out.
world problems and we've got a new rock band going here and just all
Yep.
sorts of fun, juicy stuff. So,
Coming up with
Damon,
good band names.
how was your weekend?
It was awesome. Awesome. We're hitting spring and it's just everything's good with that.
Spring is in the air. Speaking of spring, putting a little spring in your step today. How about this amazing, incredible, wonderful guest that we have on our program today? We have the one, the only Nicole Donnelly. Nicole, happy Monday. How are you?
Happy Monday. I feel like I'm part of the family now. I feel like I've officially moved on from guest to manufacturing e-commerce success daughter.
There you go.
Right. Your daughter, niece, what are those
one
two?
of my favorite places to be. It's super fun. I'm excited to talk about SEO.
Man,
we've got some topic right now.
We have some really exciting things to discuss. So yes, you know, as a repeat offender, you might, better judgment of character. I don't know, just hanging out with Damon and I quite a bit. Just, I don't want to ruin your reputation or anything hanging out with, two old guys, but I'm just teasing. All right. Welcome to Manufacturing Monday Motivation, guys. We've got Gary Wood here. We've got John Buglino.
The turtle is here. Hi, Gary.
Is here. So guys, happy Monday. Drop us a note. Let us know you're there. We are going to take a deep dive into SEO strategies, and none other than the SEO expert is in the house. So, Nicole, before we go there, since you are a repeat offender, you know my favorite question, Damon, right? Nicole, you've been asked that multiple times. You've heard it multiple times. So I'm going to put a little spin. I'm throwing you a curveball.
Oh, okay. I'm ready.
I'm throwing you a curveball. Are you sitting down for this?
Okay. I am not. Not. I'm standing. I'm going to stay standing.
All right. Well, hang on. You better hang on. Okay. Typically, anybody that catches the show, I love to ask, when you were a little girl growing up, I would say, who was your hero? But I think I've asked you that, but I think you've heard that one, correct?
You have asked me that, and I have answered it. Yep.
Okay. So, but since I'm going to go somewhere else. Okay.
Uh-oh. I'm a little nervous.
Other than Damon and myself, right? Other than Damon and myself, who on this planet considers you their hero? Who on this planet, other than Damon and myself, if I ask that question, then they would say Nicole Donnelly is my hero. Who is that human being on this planet? And hopefully, maybe there's multiple. Who would refer to you as their hero?
That's a tougher question.
That is a tough question, man. Well, I'd like to hope that my daughters.
We're right. As parents, we're always like.
I'll be honest. My 12-year-old right now, she's going to turn 13 soon, and I think I'm the furthest thing from hero to her right now.
Oh, that's not true.
So, look at John Buglino. Look, he says I'm his hero. That's amazing, John. Thank you.
They come back around. They come back.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, that's a great question. I don't know.
So,
I love that question because it makes me think. You know what it makes me think? It makes me think, what am I doing for others? What am I doing for others to really have that kind of an impact? So it's a great question for me to think sheesh, am I really being a hero for others? What can I be doing more?
Yeah.
So thank you for that challenge. I feel the call.
So Sophia and Charlotte would absolutely say Mom is our hero. I feel comfortable vouching for them. Absolutely. So Gary Wood says that you are one of his heroines. I love that answer.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Nice.
Love it. Thanks, Gary. The feeling is mutual. My turtle, my spirit animal turtle.
There you go.
Nicole, you are my hero. So absolutely appreciate everything that you do. We've been really digging deep together, working with different clients and what have you. And I think our clients would attest to that. You're just making a huge impact. And we're going to dig into that today. And we're going to talk about your superpowers as an SEO expert. You are a HubSpot guru. So let's just hey, we're not going to pull any punches here. Let's just dive right in. A lot of changes. Maybe one or two changes are going on in the world with this whole little AI thing and SEO. So let's just plow right in, Nicole. You're working with manufacturers all over the place, fourth generation entrepreneur. And as you begin that engagement, working with folks on SEO, and this is brand new to them, let's hit the beginning, like starting point. Let's go through the basics of SEO. Where do we go?
Oh, great question. And you're absolutely right. The landscape there's a huge technological advancement that's happened in the last 4 months that's happened with AI that we fully, I don't think, can comprehend how it's going to change everything we do in our lives. It's just mind blowing. It's mind blowing as when search came out, 25 years ago, or whatever. Okay. And when the user interface came out way back in late 70s or whatever.
Mhm.
So I don't think we can fully comprehend how that's going to change the way
Yeah.
we work. So I think it's important for us to have that conversation, because what's going to happen with SEO going forward is going to be a little bit unknown, but it's still very relevant today, what we're doing. So here's what we do. What do we do for manufacturing when we first start? There's a multi-step process that we do to help them uncover and try to work on getting those first page rankings, right? So they can stop being the best kept secret. And the first thing that we do is we help them uncover what their ridiculously important keywords are. So we really do an exercise with them. We understand who their buyer is, first and foremost, like who is it they're serving? What are the pain points and challenges that those buyers are having? And then we dive deep to say, what are they searching for on Google? What are the questions, things that they're looking for? And we've come up with a list of ridiculously important keywords that they want to rank for. So, and that list can include anything from like 10 to 15 keywords. And you have to be really strategic about it, because, there's a lot of saturation for some of these really broad keywords. I mean, there's a lot of people who've already created a lot of content on really broad keywords. And so the challenge for manufacturers is to really try to niche down as much as possible on the keywords that you want to show up for.
Mhm.
So making sure that those keywords are like 4 or 5 words at least, and not just like a two keyword phrase. It's like, I'll give you an example. I loved the band Coldplay when they first came out. I'm sure you guys have heard of this band, right? Coldplay.
I saw
And
Coldplay live in 2003 on a Long
I
Island. Oh my God.
Oh, amazing. I used to go to all their concerts, okay? I was
Mhm.
obsessed with Coldplay. Chris Martin had my heart. I just loved him. So I remember going to one of the concerts, and it was a huge auditorium, like one of those massive arenas, okay? Just massive, okay? I could barely see him. He was way down there on like this little speck, okay? And so for people that are out there trying to bid on these like really broad keywords, you're like this little speck in this huge arena. Okay. Chris Martin is your ideal customer, right? And you're trying to reach him. You want him to see you. You're like, hey, look at me. I'm over here. I just want
That's
you to
awesome.
see me, Chris Martin. I'm here for you. Do you see me, Chris Martin? I have something really amazing to give you, right? And so when you're bidding on these really broad keywords, that's what it's like. It's like you're in this huge pool of like millions and millions of people. Chris Martin's never going to see you, right? So I went to this concert and I was just like so excited to see him. You'll never believe it. In the middle of the show, all of a sudden they leave the main stage and the whole band runs down. And they come all the way out, and I'm not kidding you. There was like this little makeshift stage right behind where we were sitting, right behind us. And all of a sudden he comes up and he's like this far away from me. Like he was sweating on me. I was in heaven. Okay. And he got on that stage. The whole band got on that stage and they sang that song, The Scientist. Okay.
Yeah.
And I was like, and he saw me. I saw him look at me and I was like, he sees me. Oh my gosh. Chris Martin sees me. Nicole Donnelly. I was like, I was in heaven. Okay. And that's what you're doing. Like that little stage he was on, that's niching down. Okay. As a manufacturer, that's when you really identify that really important long tail keyword, right? That
For the
you
people in the back.
right, exactly. And so because he saw me there, I was like, yes, he's leaving Gwyneth for me. He's totally gonna just whatever. But that's the difference, right? When you try to go broad, you're one in a huge arena, right? But when you really try to niche down and try to target those 4 or 5 keywords, that's when you're playing with like the little stage on the side and you're having this intimate and they're like, they get you and it's just what you need, right? How's that for an analogy? How'd I do?
Wow. How about John Biglino? How about that being our first of many mic drops right there? So, guys, you want to treat your SEO strategy like Chris Martin from Coldplay. What a perfect analogy. Hey, I'm going to give some shout outs here. We've got some friends chiming in. Our dear friend Diane is here today. Diane, happy Monday. We've got Karen's coming to us live from the airport.
Hi,
Karen, tell everybody in the report we said hello. So thank you for joining us. We've got Gary's here today. So again, guys, give a greeting, give a big hello. If you're new to us here, absolutely want to connect with Nicole Donnelly. As you can tell, just an SEO guru. So let's do a quick recap, Nicole. Know your ideal customer. Know that ICP. Know your ICP. Know your ICP. Right?
Know your Chris Martin.
No, Chris Martin, right? Whoever your favorite band is, you want to dig in, and that's another. I always like using the rock band analogy of like if the three of us were starting a band and we were very broad, boy, we're not going to get any followers. But when you niche down and you find your mantra and you find like your jam, you're going to hopefully find a few fans and you can get some momentum from there. So number one, number two, you kept saying ridiculously important keywords. We'd like to call them those RICs. So you want to find your ridiculously important keywords, and then we're encouraging folks to niche down, as Nicole just said. Boy, the average search now is what, 4 to 5 keywords. So as a manufacturer, think about, man, I'm a CNC shop, but Damon, what do? They do CNC machining for turbine engines, or hey, we make circuit boards. Well, we make circuit boards for blah 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 blah. So complete that sentence. Nicole, keep the party rolling, please. What's
exactly next? Another example is like made in USA. So many people, they want products made in USA. That's a great thing that you can add to whatever product or service that you're offering in your keyword.
Made in USA. Hey, by the way, Nicole, real quick, guess who loves your story?
Lisa. Oh my gosh.
Monday.
Lisa, I have a feeling if you and I went to a concert together, we would have a fabulous time. It would be the best.
How about Jason? Same thing. He loves Coldplay. So, all right, great analogy. So, all right, I'm sorry, Nicole, keep it rolling.
Yes. So first step is identifying those 10 to 15 keywords, right? That's going to be like your North Star list. Okay. That's what you want to optimize for. Make sure they're long tail, and use some great adjectives like made in USA, like Curt just said. Maybe it's a specific industry that you're serving that you can use to niche down. So finding those specific things that you can do to niche down that keyword even further. The next thing, and this is really critical, is what we do. It's called a customer journey mapping exercise. And this is where you bring in the sales magic and the sales team. So, SEO keywords are important, but that is not the most important part of SEO. The most important part of SEO is creating content that speaks to the challenges that your buyers are having, and who better to help you with that than your sales team and your marketing leadership getting in the same room together, sitting down and actually hashing out your buyer's journey, breaking down your buyer's journey into stages, and really having a brainstorming conversation with your sales leadership to say, hey, what's the first touch point we're having with a new lead? And what are all the questions they're asking us at that touch point? What are their questions when they first have that first discovery call? What do they want to know? Literally just brainstorm. This can take 1 to 2 hours. You just brainstorm out and list out just, rapid fire. Here's all the questions. Then you ask, well, what are the objections that they're having that keep them from getting to the next stage? What is stopping them from moving to the next phase in the buyer's journey? Then you write all those objections out. That's just for the first phase of the buyer's journey. That's that first call. Then you talk as a team and say, well, what content do we already have created that answers these questions and that helps people overcome these objections? I will tell you, every time we do this exercise, without fail, there is a massive gap. Every client's like, oh my gosh, we've got like 10 questions. Oh, well, do you have anything on your website that talks about any of these questions? Well, no, we don't actually. Opportunity. So there is like huge, massive opportunity. And it's amazing. We go through this exercise, just the wealth of content ideas. And so you do that for every stage of your buyer's journey. And now you have this great diagram map of questions and objections that are all the things that your ideal customer, they need answered in order for them to feel comfortable to make a purchase. You use that content and use that in combination with your ridiculously important keywords to come up with your content strategy. Okay, this is what we're hearing from buyers over and over again. These are the objections they have. These are the keywords we need to rank for. Let's map out our content strategy and put together a content calendar that brings all of that magic together. So I would say like SEO at the end of the day, going forward, as we look ahead to the unknown of what's, we don't really know what's going to be around the corner with AI, right? But the number one thing you can be doing is staying close to your customer, understanding their questions, understanding their objections. And if you are creating content that answers those, you will always win. You're always going to be, helping to build that engagement, that community with them. And that is what we love to do. It's amazing. Anyway.
All right. So let's recap that. And so, Nicole, having gone through that process numerous times with you, can you describe how important it is to have a secretary that knows how to type with two fingers? Really? So, Damon, when we do, so Nicole, I'm telling you, as a matter of fact, how about Lisa Bachman at Steel City Steels? So they absolutely crushed it when they did a customer mapping process. Lisa, I would love to have you and Mike come on the show. Damon, you would love it. They did an amazing job. And so Nicole takes folks through these people. You know who Nicole's secretary is? You're watching it. It's right here. Nicole, it's just magic, isn't it? Watching those two fingers like fly. Right?
Oh, yeah. Man, it's amazing. Yeah. So, and it's just like, it kind of like breaks down, it breaks down the overwhelm. I will tell you, I was a solo marketer, and I remember my first SEO mentor. Okay. This was like 11 years ago, 12 years ago. And his name was Bill Hamilton. Okay. And he taught me all about meta tags. So we can talk about meta tags a little bit. Back in the day, it was all about keywords and meta tags. And I don't like making sure you had a lot of keywords on the page. So I remember he was like, you just got to make sure that you have your meta tag. Your keywords need to have your meta tag, and your meta description need to have those keywords in for each of the pages. And so for people who are listening, they're like, what the heck is a meta tag? Well, let's talk about that for a second. So every web page that you have on your website, there is a place in your content management system, whether it's WordPress or HubSpot, where you can set up a meta title for that page, which is basically a 60-character, just quick summary of what the title of that page is. And your meta description is a 150-character, statement about what people can expect to get from that page. Those two are really critical, because what they are is those are the signals. That's what, when Google is sending their algorithm to crawl your site and look and see what's on your page, the meta tag and the meta description are really important signals that Google uses to understand what's on your content so that it knows how to serve. So so it's really important for those meta tags to be optimized and include the important RICs, those ridiculously important keywords for each page that you're trying to rank for. So that's just like kind of like a first step, SEO 101. Make sure you have meta tags and meta descriptions on all of your pages.
Can you guys, Nicole, can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay. So guys, just to recap. So what Nicole's talking about is what I have highlighted right here. So Nicole, just if you want to point out, the meta description, the SEO title, just to show everybody what we're talking about here.
Yeah, exactly. So the meta title shows up in this search engine results page as shoes at Zappos is 100% free shipping and returns. That's the meta title. And the description is that subtext right below it. So that's what Google's going to show. So you want to be really intentional about what you're putting there. If you do not have a meta description, Google's going to choose it for you. So we don't want to give Google the control as much as possible. They're already a monopoly. Let's just say, I said it. So let's not let them have that control. Let's have some control over that part of the process and be really intentional about that.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll stop sharing.
Yes. Well, look at that. That's great. So and then I think the next thing is just like with content marketing, right? When we were talking about really understanding your buyer's questions and your ridiculously important keywords, you've got to take that information, and this is where you create your content strategy and your content plan. And that's where the real magic happens, right? And I'll tell you, when I was a solo marketer, this was so overwhelming to me. This was like 11 or 12 years ago. And I remember I was talking to HubSpot for the first time, like, we have this great platform. You can get our platform and you can just send out content to all of your customers, and you're going to get all these inbound leads, and everyone's going to come to you. Just use our platform and send out the content. I was like, that's really great and all, but like, how the heck am I going to create all this content? Like, who am I, like, I'm not a subject matter expert. I remember the time just feeling like, I'm happy you have this great platform, but like, that does not help me because I still have to create all of this content. Right. And so it was overwhelming for me at the time because I was like, geez, where do I even start? Right. And how do I get this content created? And so like the process of figuring that out was a very long, hard journey, like I remember like really pulling teeth to try to get like engineers to talk to me to like tell me about what it is that they do. Right. So once you have that content calendar fleshed out in your content strategy, then the next step to make it really simple is to do what we call these subject matter expert interviews. Okay. This came from a lot of trial and error of like things that weren't working. Things that didn't work was when we would try to just create the content on our own, just like doing research on the web and trying to create it on our own. That was not great because we didn't really have the expertise on the topic, right? You're not going to get when you're working for a manufacturing company and you've got people on the team and you're like, this is like technical, really incredibly technical information, to expect a marketer to go out and create like a really quality piece of content without the experience that those engineers have. Like I learned the hard way. It's not going to set you up for success. So we tried that. That didn't really work very well. And then we would try to like pin down the SMEs. And we realized over time, we're like, well, what if we just like, we have our regular marketing meetings. Let's just have them come to the marketing meeting and we'll just ask them questions in the meeting. They're already there and we can just capitalize on their time. So that is like what I found to be like the real key to getting this content created is to schedule it, like have it part of your monthly process and literally just schedule once a month, whether it could be just in your marketing meeting, have a different subject matter expert every month. They come to the meeting. Literally, you tell them the topic in advance, you tell them the 5 questions, and you record them on the call, you auto transcribe it. And now in that 1 hour, no joke, you can usually get like at least 2 to 3 blog posts. You can splice up the interview and turn it into like so many video clips. And you literally can create all these social media posts from that 1 hour interview. So now you have like a month's worth of content that you can publish from just that one interview. And so, so that process is great too, because you're getting it directly from the mind of your SME. It's like their experience. It's not, it's directly from, they're sharing their stories. They're sharing their experience. It's not derivative content that any chat GPT can just like try to source on the web for you. It is like gold.
Right.
Anyway.
All right.
I need to stop talking.
That was all right. Well, that was Mike. Awesome. I'm not sure which one we're on, but I've got, how about John Biglino? John's on fire here. 10 to 15 keywords. And he says, I feel attacked. I love it, John. That was absolutely fantastic. So, all right, Nicole, let's just do a recap there. And a couple of things I just want to clarify for any of our new friends out there listening to this for the first time or they're new to SEO. So just kind of recap what Nicole described is really get granular on like who is that ideal customer, who are you speaking to? We talk about those ridiculously important keywords. Then we're tying in like, all right, where do I get this content? I hear content. When Nicole is done through lots of trial and error, is she pulls in the subject matter expert of that company, folks that like eat, drink, breathe, sleep. They know this inside and out like nobody else, but they're not going to sit down and type out a blog post. It's just not going to happen.
Not going to do it.
What Nicole does is she interviews this person. She mentioned the word Otter. So Otter, if you go to otter.ai, you're like, oh no, another AI. Let me tell you, it's so easy that even I can use it, right? Yeah. Damon, I think you introduced me to Otter, and it's a transcription tool. So with that interview, Otter will take that transcription, and then now you have all the words, and now you can convert that into like meaty, juicy, wonderful content. Damon, if you check out Exit Your Way, you go to Damon's website, and then talk about ridiculous amount of content between our live streams that we do. Your face is a business. You're putting out just a ton of content. Just share like how you started your content journey.
Well, I wrote a few blog posts and I hated writing. So I started doing video. I mean, that's what it was. And then found Otter AI and how you can transcribe them. And you really, over time, you develop, how do we do? But I really love the process that Nicole talks about, because talking to a subject matter expert, allowing them to share, it gives you, your content is so much richer. And that is where you get the benefits, I believe, in the content itself being more valuable to the end customer. And Google can tell whether or not you're just kind of, oh, this is how you do this, blah, 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 like everybody else, or if it's got something different or more useful or valuable. I mean, they really look for the detail and the richness of the content that you can get. Like if you're talking to an engineer that really knows what they're doing, they're going to have phrases they use. They're going to have things they say that you just won't pick up on a normal search of whatever, to do that, and then writing the content from that way. And that's really what it does. But over time, like you said, it's really about building around those keywords, you know, and I believe it was, someone introduced us to the lotus flower idea, where, you know, you've got your keywords and you work around them to do it, you know, we're using just different things like that into what you do. And I go back again to what Nicole said about the process, though. What you're talking about and going through the process, like you're saying, you go through the steps in the sales process and the questions and the objections. I mean, there's so much gold in there, right? There's so much gold in there from answering those questions. Cause I'm a big Marcus Sheridan, they ask you answer fan 100%. And just answering those questions in the content, because I think that those questions that they get and the objections that you hear gives you all the, I mean, you're going to be developing content until you're sick of developing it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And the great thing about it too, is that your sales team is bought into it. So, and I think that is like such a problem area in manufacturing. I see it all the time, where marketing and sales are not working. They're not aligned. They're two different silos. And so doing that exercise is a great way to break down the silo, show some respect to your sales team and say, hey, come help us with this. And then I'm telling you, when the sales team comes in, they get all excited about it. They're like, oh yeah, this would be great. And then they start to see the wheels spin and see like, oh, marketing can help me with this. Marketing can help me create some sales enablement resources that I can use when I'm talking to my prospects. Wow, marketing's not just sitting there like creating pretty brochures and websites. Like they're actually going to create something I can use every day. Like that's awesome. So then you get them involved. And now it's not just for SEO, it's for sales enablement, which is just going to help speed up your sales cycle, because you're getting that information in front of the prospects sooner when they need it.
This is fantastic. And so, Nicole, let's slide right into this. And Damon, I think the word that was just really hitting me like a ton of bricks as you were talking, you know, what you're creating is authenticity. You know, just the way you described it is you're just creating authenticity. And I don't know if I can emphasize that word enough. Is there, what's stronger than authenticity? Is there a word out there that, I don't know, somebody
trust?
Trust, building that trust. It's just authentic. And Nicole, you love preaching, you know, curiosity and empathy, understanding your customer, meeting them where they're at. You know, we hear that line a lot, but that's what this approach does. Let's dig into this. Okay. With Damon, when we used to do our webinars, workshops, we used to talk about good eats. Man, it's like lunchtime here in the Eastern time zone. So Nicole, with SEO, it was all about eats. And I'm saying EAT. We're going to dig into that one second. Now you've added, there's a new E on the block, right?
There's a new E on the block.
E on the block. Can you describe to everybody what is EEAT, for goodness gracious?
Yes. Okay. So historically, Google's ranking was based primarily on 3 criteria. Okay. Expertise, authority, and trust. Okay. Expertise, authority, and trust. That's what it's been traditionally. Well, how do they measure expertise? Okay. Well, what are your credentials? You know, authority is based on backlinks, who's linking to your content. They'll use that. Google uses that as a signal to say, oh, you know, this has got, you know, there's Forbes is linking to this content, or, you know, someone that's really reputable helps boost up the authority of the page. Right. And trust, same thing, right? Like, how can I trust this person? Well, how much content do they have? How rich is the content? Who's, who's backlinking to this content? How many people are viewing the content? All of that kind of thing. So there's a new E on the block, and the new E is experience. And I think this is really interesting. So Google is now not only looking at expertise, authority, and trust, they're looking at experience, which means like, I need you to tell me how you've specifically learned anything related to this topic. So for example, we have a client that does ground mount solar systems, amazing company. Their product is totally innovate. Like it's an incredible innovation, the way this product they've created. And so basically someone wants to know, well, how have you, like, what is your unique approach to a ground mount solar system? What is your experience? Tell me a story about how you've installed this system and why, that people want to know about your experience, sometimes to the point now where they don't necessarily even care as much about how much you know about it. They want to know what you've done about it, And so I think this also speaks like really, really, really in alignment with what's happening with AI right now, because, experience is something that AI just cannot replicate. It is your unique secret sauce as a business, the experience of your subject matter experts, the experience of your founders, the experience of your team. And how can you take all that experience and create content around it by creating really cool stories, sharing experiences of how you installed this system and what went wrong and what went right, or, all of those things. And that's what people are looking for when they're, they want to see your experience. They want to see the social proof. They want to see the case studies. They want to see the testimonials. They want to know all of that. So how can you bake that experience into your content?
Yeah. Yeah. Man, this is all right. This is so we got so much to cover here. Okay. Let's jump into what Karen's saying here. So let's see, when dealing with a channel distribution, how do you recommend applying these tactics so both the OEM and the rep partner benefit?
Oh my gosh, that's a huge question.
That's a juicy question, Karen. Thank you so much. She's coming to us from Texas, and she is a frequent friend here. Damon, we got to get Karen on the program here.
Yeah.
So, all right, Karen, happy Monday. Nicole, any thoughts on, all right, how do you recommend applying these tactics so both the OEM and rep partner benefit? I've got a couple of comments. Nicole?
Yeah, you go first.
Okay,
I want to
sure.
hear
All right. So let's dig into this. As a matter of fact, I think I saw Chris Harrington and our friend Brian Beck, was it last week or this week? They're doing a webinar on this hot topic. This is an extremely hot topic. Nicole, we encounter this frequently. Damon, we've encountered this with folks. So you're the OEM, you're the original equipment manufacturer, and there's always a challenge of like, hey, what about our rep benefit, our rep partner? Nicole, we're just with a company in Minnesota. We were just talking, had this situation last week, right? So the thing is, as your OEM, Damon, even like gosh, did we have a great interview on Friday or what?
Yeah.
With DigiKey?
Yeah.
This is a common challenge.
Yes, it is.
Okay? As the OEM, okay, I work with small OEMs, so I'm not dealing with the Fortune 500s. Small OEMs, there's a little bit of an attitude of like, you know what? I don't care who sells my product, just as long as the end user is buying my product.
Yeah.
So whether I'm selling it through a supply chain channel of like, we had DigiKey on Friday or a Zorro or Amazon or a marketplace, I don't care as long as they're buying my product. So Karen, now the question might be, okay, well, if it's a distribution network, we're like, hey, are we cannibalizing? Right? With Nicole's process, what she's doing, like that sale, by taking that interview, not only does it help for SEO, they can take that information and provide it to your partner, and they can use it as sales enablement. Treat your distribution partners as internal sales reps and treat them as such, right? And so, Nicole, that's kind of my response is like, man, just the more information, the merrier. Helping that distribution channel. We're dealing with a company that they manufacture covert antennas. And so when you see like your local state trooper, a police, sheriff, whatever, some type of emergency vehicle, and you see that antenna, and they encounter similar type situations where it's going through a distribution channel or they buy direct from the OEM. The more information you can put out about that product, that subject matter expertise that you have as a manufacturer, man, get that out to your channel. That's my 2 cents. Damon, Nicole, any feedback from you guys?
I would just second everything you just said.
Yeah.
Make sure that if you're using distributors, as much as you can make them feel like they're part of your sales team, and make sure that you're arming them with all the information so that they can just really sell for you and answer those questions. That would absolutely be. And as part of that customer journey mapping exercise, maybe you need to make sure that you have someone who is a distributor part of that process to help understand. Maybe they might be getting different questions than your internal sales team. So maybe as you're starting to think about your strategy, how can they be involved in the building out of that content too, so that you're speaking to their unique challenges that maybe you don't even know about.
And Nicole, for a shameless plug, Damon, in my mom's favorite book, Stop Being the Best Kept Secret, we talk about, one of our taglines is, how do you dominate search? And by aligning with those distributors or those online marketplaces, they're going after the same RICs. They're going after the exact same ridiculously important keywords. So if somebody's typing your niche keyword, we want to own that page. And a great way to do that is by aligning yourself and partnering with your distribution partners. So the thing is, like Damon, my famous ground strap example, right? Somebody types the word ground strap. I want my client coming up. I want Zorro coming up. I want DigiKey coming up. I want Amazon coming up. I want McMastercard. I want like all their channel partners coming up because I want to own that page, So anyway, let's get back on track.
And I'm going to take it a little bit differently, because you guys are talking about an OEM with the distributors, right?
Yep.
If you actually are an OEM that has your own reps around the United States, we used to run companies like this where we have reps covering the entire country. In that case, you are doing similar things that you would with a distributor, but you're really trying to localize it in some of what you're doing, right? Because what my representative needs in the Northeast may be much different than what they need in the Southwest for our current kind of clients that are in there. I mean, we used to service large grocery chains. So those things are even within the Southeast division of Kroger compared to the Midwest division. They have different needs and wants in those stores and the way that they buy things and what they really need around the products that we were building and selling. So we would arm them with different information and then also try to localize it as much as you could too, because what you're doing with when you have people with geographies, you really want them to help dominate their geography with it as well as the subject matter.
Yes.
Align with those folks, and that is, that's a power. And I know it's touchy. It's like, man, I don't want to cannibalize. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. I don't want to step on anybody's toes. You probably need to address it on a case by case, but we hit that really hard. So Nicole, let's keep the party rolling here. So recapping, Nicole, you're just making everybody just an SEO expert out there. I can just feel it. I can feel everybody just like the overwhelm is just being reduced. They are just really digging this. They're enjoying this. And you know what? Nicole and I came up with a really interesting thing recently, Damon. To be an SEO guru, you know what you need to do? It's one thing. It's one thing. Just understand your customer. If you can understand and dedicate yourself to solving your customer's problem, you can definitely become an SEO guru. So Nicole, let's dig into this. We're talking about AI, and boy, there's just a lot of uncertainty. It's hard to predict where we're going. Damon, we've had a couple of folks on, digging into this. I know you guys talked to Morgan from True Marketing. I was and you guys dug into it. We've had Wendy Covey. We've talked to Wendy about it. So Nicole, there's some great ways to, number one, strengthen your SEO. Number two, not necessarily, I'm not going to use the word combat, but to help strengthen whatever's going with AI. We've been talking about community, owning some of your own assets. Can you shed a light on the folks on what are some strategies that they can do?
Topic. Yes.
Yeah.
So for manufacturers, I will say that so many manufacturers, there's still incredible opportunity to rank for SEO because you're in such niche industries and there's just no one competing right now on some of those. So there's still opportunity there. And the other challenge with AI is it's derivative. What does that mean? It's just taking the average of whatever's out on the web. And it's even I think the Chat GPT-4 models, the last piece of data is from 2021. So it's not even current. So the problem is that if you're in a very technical topic where there's not a lot of stuff out there, then this generative AI is not going to be able to provide you any good information. So there's still a need for you to interview your subject matter experts, because there's not any information for the chat GPT to even pull from, frankly. It's too technical. And when they try, they get it wrong. Like, we've had situations on our team internally where we're trying to create really technical content for our clients, and our subject matter experts looking at the content saying, this, on our team who knows the industry is saying, this isn't correct. This is not accurate. The only way someone would know that is if you know the industry, if you're an insider. So you have to be really careful. So on our team internally, we're using ChatGPT as a research buddy. We use it whenever we're trying to whenever we have a new piece of content to find out what else is already out there on the topic. You easily use it to do research, and it speeds up that process significantly. And it's really great at repurposing existing content. So if you have an audio transcript that you want to turn into a blog post, or turn into social media posts, or turn into some sort of an email campaign, it's really great for repurposing existing content. Highly encourage you to use it and leverage it for those purposes as much as you can to help speed up. It's kind of like your writing admin, outsource all of the tasks that you don't want to do to them, and then the harder, more technical tasks you can handle internally. What was the other thing? What was the other part of the question?
Well, hey, we'll grab a couple comments right here. So, hey, Whitney's with us today.
Hey, Whitney.
Happy Monday. And Karen says, hey, we're more in line with the example that Damon is stating. Love the idea of unique situations based on geographical regions and localization. So that's huge. And then, hey, on USA, on a Twitter chat group, we're talking about chat GPT.
Nice.
And so, and let's go here, Nicole. So one great way to build things up, and Damon, we've talked about it multiple times on here, and let's totally geek out right now, is community. Okay. So Damon, we have our manufacturing e-commerce success. You have your faces of business. Nicole, you have your misadventures. That's new, exciting podcast that you launched for 2023. These are all opportunities to create content and build community. Now, I am super excited to share. I don't know if you guys can see. Can you see this? So we are posting live on B2Btail website. So we just started doing this. We're not we tested it last week. And so this is officially our first launch. And so now what we're doing is building a community here. We're we want to out teach the competition.
Yeah.
So out teaching. Damon, you're doing webinars. We've done tons of webinars.
Yeah.
Tons of webinars. So Nicole, building that community, being dedicated to out teach the competition.
Yep.
Let's take a deep dive there on what are things that folks could be doing to out teach a competition and build their own community.
Absolutely. Wonderful question. So I think the opportunity for companies looking ahead is to focus on community-led growth. Okay. So the first, community-led growth for businesses. Well, how do you build a community? The first step to building a community is having an audience, right? Your audience can be your already existing customers that you have in your database. Your audience can be the people that interact and engage with your content on your social media platforms as an organization. So you've got to build an audience first before you can build a community. And so that's what's great about content, is when you create content and you distribute it, you are building an audience. You're sharing it. Like if you email it out to your customers, you're building that sense of connection, community with your existing customers. When you share that content on social, you're pulling in people who are interested in what you have to say, who connect with you, and you're starting to build that audience. So content is the first step to building that audience. That's never going to go away. You always need content to build an audience. You got to have something to say. You got to have a point of view, and you got to share it for people to say, hey, I like what they're saying. I'm learning something. It's helping me. Then once you have the audience, the next step is how can you convert that audience into a community for your business that's going to help you innovate, right? So you have this audience now. How can you keep them engaged? How can you create a place for them separate from social media, like your own community? Maybe it's a Slack channel. Maybe you create your own community website. Maybe it's a Facebook group. But as businesses, be thinking about how can I take and convert my engaged audience, create a community for them, and then let them co-create with me what the future is going to look like. How can they help co-create new products and services? How can they help me make my products and services better than what I've already have? And letting them help you in that process is really going to be what like great marketing is going to be all about. So like, how can we get there? So the first start is you got to create the content first. You got to create it, and then you got to share it so you can get the audience going, and then leverage that to turn it into the community so that you can grow from there. Because like, we just don't really know what's going to happen with SEO, with search engines. Like, we don't know. But what we do know is right now people need and are looking for community. And what better way to innovate as a company than to let your customers do it with you? You know, like it's all like, it just goes back to those marketing fundamentals. What is the marketing fundamentals? Know your customer, stay very close to your customer. Like, I know that sounds really banal and like maybe super, but that's just what it comes down to. So how can you stay really close to your customers? And if you're always close to them, you're always going to be one step ahead of everyone else.
Well, I just, man, all right, drop the mic number, I don't know, John Baglino, what are we on, like 10 right now? So, you know, build an audience first. Damon, you did it, you know, took a leap of faith. You know, we did it here with our show. You did Face the Business. Nicole, share a little bit. What inspired you? You just launched your podcast in January. What inspired you to start putting out your content going that direction with the podcast?
Yes. What inspired me? I was inspired because I wanted to help those people who are maybe aspiring entrepreneurs, small business owners, or even the business owners that are in the trenches struggling. I wanted to provide a place where they could go to feel like they could get support and hear from other people who have struggled through some of the same things, and start to build an audience of people who are like, yeah, I'm in this too, or I want to be in this and I want help and I need support. And I want to hear from other people who have gone through something similar. So I wanted to create a place where people would be able to get that kind of resource. And probably same thing for you when you started this, right? You wanted to help people find a place where they could connect on these problems that they're having.
Right.
So, yeah.
Right. All right. A couple of great comments here. Hey, our dear friend Jason's coming to us live on the website, Jason. So, hey, treat your customer relationships like they're your friends. Love and help them, and they will trust you and love you back. That was a mic drop moment, Jason. Thank you. I can't get him to come on the program, Damon. Mic drop is equal to the number of keywords you need to narrow down, 10 to 15. John sending you tons of love here, Nicole. So, Nicole, we're going to start winding down here. Man, I know we could just geek out about this all day. So just kind of recapping SEO solutions made simple for manufacturers. We're going to recap, know your customer inside and out, help your customer inside and out. Going into those keywords, John, don't worry, we've got your back, dude. We'll geek out this week and we'll talk further about that keyword strategy. Talking about building that audience, taking that leap of faith. Any advice, suggestions for someone out there, boy, like, man, I know I need to build an audience, but I'm just not sure where to start. How do they just get off the sidelines and just get started?
I think you just have to get started. You just have to do it. Like when I was starting my podcast, I'll tell you, like, I was like, oh man, I got to do all these things. And I was like, you know what? If I don't just schedule this and do this and get it going, it's just going to continue to delay. And so I was just like, I don't know, like, I don't think I had all of the details of how it was going to be distributed yet, but I was like, I'm just going to schedule my first interviews and just figure it out.
Yeah.
So you just got to go in and do it. You just got to go for it. I know that sounds, but like, you just got to start. You got to start. So start with something simple. Like, what is maybe the most number one question you hear over and over again from your sales team? Start with that. It's usually price. How much does it cost?
Yeah. Talk about that. How much does it cost to do blah?
Yeah, exactly. And all the factors that go into it. Create an article on that, and then there you go. And when I say create an article, I mean interview your subject matter expert on that topic, and see how easy it is. Like, literally just take the video recording and publish it on your website, and take the transcription and repurpose it using ChatGPT into a blog post. So that's what I would suggest. Just get started. Start with like the most popular questions.
What's been most exciting, or maybe some surprises that you didn't expect with your podcast so far, Nicole? Like, since from what you going into it, compared to like now that you're into it? What would be like, say, you know, some of your most fun, exciting surprises that you didn't expect doing your podcast?
You know, this is going to sound a little selfish, but what's been most surprising to me is what I've learned from people.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
It's
it's like,
crazy,
to me,
isn't it?
it's almost like I do it because that's not, I mean, I'm just being, you know, like every time I
Yeah.
have one, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited to talk to them. I'm going to learn so much. And I always have so many cool notes. Like I just interviewed someone last week that's going to be coming, that episode's going to be published, I think at the end of April.
Yeah.
And he is doing this amazing startup, and he's like in it. He's in the grind, trying to build this startup, building software. And he just had so many like great just nuggets that like one of the things he said is abdicate, don't delegate. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, that's so smart. Or not abdicate, don't delegate. Delegate, don't abdicate.
There you go.
Delegate, don't abdicate. You guys were looking at me like, what is she saying?
We knew what you meant.
We knew what you meant. We were there with you.
He was telling me like how you know the difference and all of that. It was just, so that's what I would say is like, you just learn so much. What about you? What do you
Damon, I don't know like what you think, but like, you know, just a couple weeks ago we had Tony, Damon, you were away. We had gentleman Tony. He's a buddy of mine, and I'm reading I almost finished. I'm reading his book right now. And I got done. I'm like, I felt guilty. I'm like, I just got a free coaching session.
Yeah.
Having him, it was so mind blowing. Yeah. So amazing. And just the gift of meeting and these conversations. Damon, we have had times where we're laughing hysterically. We've been in tears. We've learned so much. Damon, like you've done hundreds of these.
The same thing. I mean, you just go, some of these people, and the thing for me too, is I've been able to talk to them on the Face of the Business, and some have come here on the Manufacturing e-commerce success. We talk to them, and it's just like you learn something else that's even more incredible.
Yeah.
But it is the learning that you get from them and meeting cool people. I mean, how the heck would we have ever met like Allison Levine, who climbs all 7 continents or whatever, or just some of these people that love to share experiences.
Yeah, Joe Foster, founder of Reebok.
Joe Foster, my goodness.
Golden, Nicole Donnelly. So, we've had.
Yeah, I mean, I just think it's like all about relationships. And I listened to this great podcast from Ed Milet about this happiness study that has been going on for 80 years. Okay. Yeah. And what did they find? Like, spoiler alert, like what is the one thing that people need to be happy is the quality of your relationships. And so as businesses, like having a platform like this, what you're doing, businesses need to be thinking like this platform is tremendous for SEO, hugely massive for SEO, but even more importantly, it's tremendous for building those relationships, those long-term relationships of trust with partners, potential customers. That's really what keeps your business going and operating and successful and thriving.
Absolutely. And John Baglino says, hey, invest in yourself. And John, the king of hunting relationships, he knows better than anybody. So Nicole, as we wind down, parting words of wisdom, thoughts for our manufacturers out there as far as SEO, any last thoughts on strategies that you want to leave them with today?
I feel like I've talked enough.
You're talked out. Oh my God.
What I would say, learning, let's see, what would I say? Great advice for SEO. I would say, just keep it, as in the words of Emily Wilkins, our friend who did the webinar, just keep it stupid simple. It's not that complicated. If you just kind of follow the process we just walked through, where you really understand what are the keywords, how can I make them 4 to 5, words long rather than 2, and really like understanding your customer journey, bringing your sales team involved in that process, creating a content calendar that marries both of those things, and then just start interviewing your subject matter experts. Like, it's a very straightforward, simple process that makes the overwhelming part of like SEO much more like easy to tackle for a small manufacturer.
That's right. Keep it super simple. So Nicole, Damon, what do you got?
She just rolled it all up in like 45 seconds right there.
Just that was drop, that mic drop number 19, I think, we're on John Baglino. So
we gotta be at least there.
All right. So Nicole, last question for you of the day. Okay.
Okay.
So as John Baglino and many, Lisa, you are just such a breath of fresh air. You are such a gift, just amazing individual. And you crush it with your clients on a regular basis. Lots of celebrations. When you absolutely just kill it for a client and you feel like celebrating and you're like, you know what? I just need a good jam. I need like a great jam. What
Song?
What Coldplay song are you turning to?
Oh, man.
Now, Damon, while she's thinking, Damon, so she took your place a couple weeks ago.
I do love that one. That is definitely a winner.
So
I'm back here with Spotify playing with it because I knew she was Coldplay.
Damon,
I love Coldplay, but like if I'm like really jazzed up and excited, lately it's gonna probably be like if I'm really excited, like we just crushed it with the client and I'm like in this like really happy mood. It's don't laugh at me, but it's probably gonna be Harry Styles.
Oh my God, I'm a huge Harry Styles fan. So hey,
Styles or The Weeknd.
How about this comment here from our dear friend? How about
Amy's here.
So Amy's on our team. Hi. Whitney says, hey, I love that song. What a throwback. So Damon, when you're off, let's see, we've got, hey, James Brown, I feel good. Yeah. Drop a note in the comment section, guys. What song are you celebrating with when you feel like you just crushed it? So we had Tony on a couple weeks ago and it was St. Patrick's Day. Nicole, share with Damon one of our favorite songs that you opened up with.
Oh yes, this is it was so appropriate. Van Morrison, Into the Mystic. Like that song is like never gets old. It's just beautiful. Yeah.
It was a mic drop moment, Damon. You missed it. She opened up with Van. We should do that more often. So all right, guys, we're gonna wind down here. I know we're getting a little off track here. So all right. Nicole, if you guys have been sitting down for the past 56 minutes and 34 seconds, I invite you, I encourage you, I welcome you to stand up, get a little stretch, and how about we give Nicole Donnelly a huge, roaring standing ovation. So, Nicole, thank you for breaking down SEO. Thank you for making it super simple for us. And hey, Nicole, how about this, man? You're live on the website today. How's that?
That's amazing, guys. Just be paying attention because we've got big things coming. Big things are coming.
We've got, Gary says, hey, how about a little Tina Turner? I'm a Tina Turner fan. And Nicole, and Lisa says, Curt, and hey, Lisa, we need to have you on the show. We're gonna get her on the show. So my cousin Mike Anderson, come on. So guys, thank you for joining us today. As Damon and I always say, we never take this for granted. Damon, any parting thoughts for today? You're not going to be here Friday. Any parting thoughts for the week?
I'm just happy to be here.
I'm just happy to be here. Nicole, thank you. As a matter of fact, Nicole's going to be back with me as a guest host on Friday. We're interviewing Bonnie.
Awesome.
Go Lids, man, and get a good night's sleep for that one, Nicole, because Bonnie.
I'll be in the chat.
Well, she told me her spirit animal is a golden retriever with the bull combined, and I'm like, oh man, that's going to be cool. Yeah.
She's a pit bull. So we're going to be on fire on Friday. So guys, we're going to be here Friday this week. Then next week, Damon and I, we're taking a week off. And so, hey, thank you guys. Appreciate you. God bless you. Nicole, thank you for joining us today. We appreciate you sharing. And so you guys have an amazing, incredible week. And what we'd love to say is go out and just be someone's inspiration. Just like Nicole was our inspiration today, go out and be an inspiration. So, all right, have a great day and we'll see you Friday.
Thanks for coming, everyone. Have a great